Transformers reviews, tech and the news, whatever else I use as a muse. Hit subscribe, I appreciate the views. Influences interest on YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. This is Influence, and today I have Transformers Bumblebee Studio Series number 81 Wheeljack. Here we go with the 360. Back to the 360s as soon as we start. Yeah, I really like this figure. I'm surprised at how much I like these Bumblebee movie figures. As you know, the Bumblebee movie in the beginning, like everybody was like, oh, you know, it looked like a video game to me, kind of. But I really like that sequence. Like that sequence showed me, I wish they would make a whole movie like that, like animate. It doesn't matter. If it was CGI, whatever it was, I wish they would make a whole movie like that. And maybe they could be on Cybertron and then come to Earth like the regular, you know, like the lore. Like just make an origin movie with just robots. I don't want to see no people. All right, I'm getting out of hand. So this is Wheeljack again. I really like this figure. Let's go into my initial thoughts. So my first thought is, again, they're so small. I think that's the biggest downfall. I realize they're their own scale and it is what it is. But here we go. We got Brawn over here. Personally, I don't think Brawn is as big as Wheeljack, but he's closer to Wheeljack's size. I got Ratchet in his vehicle mode. But again, you see how small he is. They're super small, which again is my only gripe. I got Iron Factory Hound here, and you'll see how it almost fits in. You know, Iron Factory has their own little thing. I mean, I think Hound was bigger than Brawn as well, because Brawn was a mini-bot, technically. But you can see how small they are. Like, this is a Legends figure, and it's a Iron Factory Legends. Rather early with the comparisons, but I just wanted to, in my initial thoughts, get out to how small he was, or is, I should say. Not was, because he's still here. Let's go to our accessories. Not much, just the gun again, which I'm fine with. I'm super fine with having these figures have almost zero hollow bits. In my opinion on that is that's why they're so small, because they're using probably the same amount of plastic as a bigger figure that has hollow bits, and they probably have some type of, that's a good discussion. Maybe I'll have a discussion video. I haven't had a discussion video in a while. I'm getting off track again, but here's the gun. It's just a mold. It has a lot of detailings though, which I like. And here's the box, which I include in accessories now. So you just get a regular Studio Series box, small box. I got this from Amazon, so it came in a bag. And of course it's jacked up because it just came in a bag. That's what they do over at Amazon. F the collector. If you collect the boxes, don't buy from Amazon. It does have the backdrop diorama, whatever you want to call it. He does fit on here, and it's the same as the other two that I have, Ratchet and Brawn. I guess they were on the same battlefield, so that makes sense. Again, I said I wanted different backdrops, but it makes sense that they were on the same battlefield, and you could kind of connect them together. I think it's all the same picture too. It's not like they form a puzzle. I don't think. I don't have the other boxes here, but if anybody knows, let me know. And here's his directions, which is the last accessory, and they're great. They're fine. I mean, you can follow them. It tells you details, so it's great. It's not. I'm so used to third-party directions where it's hit or miss. Most of the Hasbro directions I can say are good. And here's the figure. We can get into articulation. But first, let me show the head sculpt. It has that, you know, robotic kind of Michael Bay former type face, but not really. Is closer to his G1 face, which I do like. I wish it was a little less, less details and stuff, but I understand it's going on the movie. Like it looks like it did in the movie. And that's subjective as well. It's a good head sculpt though. You go down, you go up. It's a ball joint. You can get side to side, and you get all the way around, and it's very tight. And his ears are blue. He has the wings here, which they can move like this, like that, and they're actually on the arm, the back of the arm, instead of his back, which makes it a little better as far as articulation and moving the arm, because then you move the arm all the way around. It's not hitting the wing. It's actually the wing is on the arm. So then you have that. You can have the arm up to about there, double jointed elbow, so you get the full elbow. It has a fixed fist in the holding hand with 5mm port. It does have this thing here that moves. Doesn't really get out the way or anything. It's just there. This moves as well. His shoulders, they're not really supposed to. They're supposed to be clipped on. You see that peg right there. They're supposed to be on like this to keep the head. The head doesn't need help because it's on a stiff joint. All the tolerances mostly are fine. They're stiff. They're not super tight, but they're actually perfect for posing. This does kind of annoy me a little bit. Like when you're moving the arm, it does move this shoulder out and in where it's supposed to peg in at. No big deal though. It's just noting something. Legs, he can get the full hurdles, so he will be an Olympian. He doesn't get the full splits though. He's not doing any gymnastics anytime soon. He does have a waist swivel. This gets in the way a lot. It can't really get around it. But you can get most of what you need unless you want him to turn all the way around and back. I already showed the legs. He does have a thigh swivel at this up here. And I do like that the actual thigh joint has some molded details. And that's cool. That's stuff that I like. And I wish they did more. I actually wish third party did that more. They do it sometimes. Just like that extra detail. Because they know if you swivel, you're going to see it. It just looks like mechanical stuff. Knee doesn't get really 90. It gets close to 90. But that's it. It's impeded by all the stuff in the back. All this kind of kibble. Feet go down about that much. Not really up. They kind of go up about that much. And the rocker is very, very limited rocker. It does have one a little bit. If you can see that, you see how much I thought it didn't have one, but it does just a little bit right there. So, I mean, it's barely there. You can get a stance. I call it a T stance sometimes for some reason. A stance, T stance. I mean an A. Like it forms like an A. I think a T is more like this. But yeah, you can get an A stance and it's fine. It has heel spurs, which are the front of the car. And again, they just move with the feet. These things move, but they're not really supposed to. So I won't include that. And then you see the back. Saw the back in a 360. I think it's super clean. Doesn't have any hollow bits. Again, my theory is the fact that these are so small. It probably uses the same amount of plastic, but they're so small, so they eliminated the hollow bits. And maybe that's why they made them small. But for me, for my money, a $1 billion company should be able to make them the same size as normal. And a normal deluxe, I believe this is a deluxe. Yeah, this is deluxe, and it's smaller than the regular mainline deluxe class. I think it is. It looks like it anyway. So you have the symbol there. Got the green, the paint. Paint's nice. The figure's nice looking. Again, I really like these figures. I don't know. I just love them. I love them. I like them a lot. And I'm not a mainline collector, but I like these figures a lot. They may go to the office with me. So transformation, pull this out a little bit just to get this off. You see the pegs, those pegs is peg on those holes on the side. They're the ones that don't really peg on right. So I just leave it like that. Pull this up, pull this out, move this up. Then underneath, move this up here like that. And you kind of leave it like that. You can actually move it down a little bit. Then you want to turn the legs around. Just do that now. These wings, move down to the back of the arms. And you kind of move the arms up a little because then you're going to move this. And in order to get this through here, you just have to move it and maneuver it. And there you go. It goes through there like that. And then you can leave the arm like that. Over here is the same way. Kind of move it up, but you want to maneuver it the best that you can through that little space. And then you leave it like this. You can even peg them together right now if you want. I think that's fine for you to do. So it's like this. Now I turn it over so I can fool with all this stuff. I just straighten this out because eventually it's going to come up in here like that. But you can straighten this out. Let me see. What do I do first? This is kind of, I know the directions show it pegged in, like having pegs actually pegging into here, but it's just like a spacer. Like it just sits in that space and keeps these from moving. But you can move this out as much as you can while you swing this. Now I swing this around up here. And actually I like to swing it the other way, but it's kind of hard to do the other way because you're going to want it to come up into here. And it kind of slides up. That peg slides up into there. So I just move it, swing it around, kind of move it around it. And then you can kind of get it up into this peg right here. Because if you see, it doesn't fit. It does fit like this, but it's flared out a little bit. So it's just easier to slide it up in there like this. And you just line up the door where it's supposed to line up. See like how that's supposed to be. Now this you can move out. It's on this joint that slides out. You can move this around and slide it back in. Now this move out around here, clips on there, and there you go. You can move this up into here, and it kind of slides down into there. Then you can do the other leg the same way. Move this, kind of slide it out. It kind of got to move out of the way of stuff. Move it up in there, get it where it needs to be, lined all up. Then I'm this out, flip this around, kind of move it back in, move this down here. Then move this up and slide that in there. Then you can put these together. And you can see the car start forming. You can move this up here. It kind of didn't fit like this. In the directions it don't, at least I couldn't see if it showed to move the head like this. But I just moved the head like that and then it fits up in there fine. You can't see it anyway. So you just move this down. There's a peg right here that pegs into there. And then there's pegs right here that peg into the front. And I'm not sure if there's any, these pegs, they kind of sit in there. They don't really peg in. But that's enough. If you get it correct, you can feel it go in there. It's like a soft peg. It don't really make a noise. Then you flip these arms over. You kind of got to get these fists under here. Again, with this side, you flip it over and get these fists under here. And then you
put them arms together. And you can move this kind of down a little bit. They move a tad bit to kind of offer, I guess, like the, you know, aerodynamics, downforce. And you have these two little tabs right here. That tab in the air kind of keeps them there. I mean, it's a soft tab, but it works. It works, kind of keeps everything together. Then you can flip this over and put it down. And here you go. You have the car. It rolls nicely. It looks nice. It's reminiscent of, it's actually more earthly than I thought it would be. But I guess it is more Cybertronian. But nowadays, this looks like a concept car to me. I'm in the cars, so I've seen some cars that kind of looks like a Pagani, maybe. I don't know, but it kind of looks like a concept that would come out. It doesn't look as Cybertronian as I would think, but I do like it. I like the vehicle. I like the transformation. I like that it just shows me that Hasbro can do great figures if they want to. Just gotta put the money into the figures. Like, stop making it hollow, especially for the Studio Series. There's some Studio Series that are hollow, and this is just solid. Bottom, you know, you can see hollowness in there. Kind of like the cockpit. It's hollow back here. But again, I think that's the spacing. Kind of like the engine spacing. The wings kind of double as kind of like the exhaust. It's a good figure. It's a good figure to me, in my opinion. Then you have this. It has a little notch on it that can notch into right there. And it kind of just fits into that space. And then you have the gun on the top. And it kind of blends in. I mean, these figures are Cybertronian figures, so I can see them riding around with guns. Because everybody on the planet's a transformer. So they're not really transforming to conceal themselves, because the people know that you're either Autobot or Decepticon when they see you. They don't care what you look like. Which is always weird to me. But I'm not going to get into the lore of, you know, the contradictory parts of the lore. We all know it's not perfect, but we love it anyway. So we're going back to robot. You know, I do that a lot. So just flip that over. It's super easy. You know, you just going back. So you move this out, move this down, move this out, move this down. That's kind of the only part I don't like. You got to try to move it around it, but what can you do? Move this up like this. Move this up like this. Then I get this off of here. Flip this in. Flip this in. You can just leave it like that. It's just mainly prep work. Move this out. Now these legs. To get that out, you move this back down. Then you start to just, you know, redo it. You can move this all the way back. Oh, that's the first time that's happened. Isn't the greatest. It's one of those clips. I hate those clips. Did I put it on right? Yeah. But it's like a double joint right here. But this joint is so tight when you're trying to get it double jointed out. So you want it out like that in order to get this around here and spin back down, or else it's going to hit that. So then when you get that where it's supposed to be and you see that space, it's easy to figure out. You can move this out, move this around, and move it back in. Got a leg done. Again over here. Move this out of here. You can kind of move the hips too if you're trying to figure out how to move this around. And you want to get this out of the way again. It's on that double joint, so you can get that double joint around there so you can get it out like that. Then you can move this down here. And you know where you have it right when that fits into the space there. It kind of keeps everything solidified. Move this out. You can move it down any way that you need to. Move it back in there. Now you got the legs done. Move that back around. Now you're going to move this out again. You're just trying to move it whichever way you can get these arms through here. Then you're good. Again, over here, maneuver it, get them arms through. You can move this up. Move this back down. Connect it. Move this part. You might have to pull this down and move it up while it's back here because this is very tight, which is good. So the head doesn't move. And then you're supposed to tab it into these two shoulder pieces, but it doesn't really work. Move that. Then you get the wings, last but not least. And now you have him back in robot. Just that simple. I went pretty fast, but you know, you can kind of tell. All right, so thank you for joining me. This has been Bumblebee Studio Series 81 Wheeljack. Number 81, not 81 a year. Wheeljack. We'll get up with you in another video.
Ain't no, life ain't no, life ain't no, life ain't no. As long as you alive, you can give another try and take it real high if you want.